There we go. We're live.
Yay!
Whoa. Hello. Wavy, wavy, wavy. Egg head.
Oh, dang, you took it away from me. I was going to
I
say
know.
it first.
Yeah.
You like to get the jump on me, don't you?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. We're okay. Everyone's coming into the room. We started a little bit early because we've had quite a few register for this event, and we just thought we'd start a little bit earlier while everyone gets in. So what I'd like you to do before we all kick off, a bit of a tech check. Can you all type the letter Y or the word yes into the comment bar below? Nothing sinister about it. If you type the letter Y or the word yes, it just signifies you can see the screen. At least you can hear it. That's the main thing. Hi, everyone. Thanks. Yes, shave the beard. Yeah, I did it on Sunday. Sunday. I shaved it off on Sunday. Don't ask. Every now and then I do these crazy, wacky things. And as I was doing the shave, I was like, now I remember why I hate shaving.
Oh, man. I agree with you there.
Dude. But the problem is I couldn't shave it off very well because the last time I shaved, there was a lot less gray. Let's put it that way. So you're like, I'm sure I've shaved that bit already. All right then, Mitch, let's kick off. Welcome, everyone. And as I've got, this show is slightly different to normal. Something we don't really spoke about very often. I'm going to be lead. It's not that funny, is it, Mitch? Is it really?
It's just that, I get to sit back and do nothing today.
Yeah,
you're going to do the whole show.
Oh, no. I'm not going to do the whole show. Oh, no. I am not going to do the whole show. But what I am going to do, we got requests. People want to know more about agencies. So today's co-pilot show is all about, there's a Gigi. Oh, I wondered if that was a Gigi I know. No, it's not. That's Gigi from Washington, D.C. Is about setting up your agency. How you can make money out of UpViral apart from campaigns and selling your own stuff, but how can you actually run an agency with it? Well, the first thing, and the reason why I'm talking to you about this is I'm qualified to do it because I've actually ran 2 advertising agencies. We had brands such as Adidas, Coca-Cola, Xbox, Corona. Have I mentioned Corona? Small brands. That didn't really do anything, and I don't know where they all went to.
My Corona.
So I ran 2. The last one was focused. It was what we call one of the first across the line agencies. We didn't have a lot of clients, but what we were very good at doing was getting results. In fact, one of my biggest claims is return on investment that I got for one campaign that we did. I think it was an 8-week campaign, and they spent around about £250,000 with this, which we'll say $300,000. And that campaign produced £666 million in return on investment. 606. Now 666. So I always remember it. I remember saying that's a devilish number. That is 666 million. Now I remember at the time when I was negotiating with the company, thinking at the back of my mind, we could really kill this. What I need is a percentage of the ROI. And I was like fishing for 10%. It's like, no. We'll pay you. We'll keep the dollars. But I did work out that if we'd have got the deal with the 10% return, I definitely would have walked away a multimillionaire, but everyone else in the agency would have also walked away a millionaire as well. Even the cleaner would have walked away a millionaire. So it was but it didn't happen. But anyway, enough of that nonsense. So that's what I've done in the past. I've run an agency, and what I want to talk to you about is is running an agency for you? Because a lot of people, and don't forget, if you've got questions, type them into the chat and we'll try and deal with them as we go through, probably at the end. And Mitch, if you could keep an eye out and do the...
I have something to do? Yay!
Do the dots, that would be great. And if you want to contribute in any small way, please feel free to do so.
Okay, I will.
But the main question you have to ask yourself is an agency right for you? I know that sounds strange. Yeah, I want to run an agency. Well, you have to ask yourself, and you can't answer it right now. You're probably going to have to answer it either after the end of the show or probably in about 24, 48 hours. But what I can tell you is you don't have the fear, that word agency, ad agency, creative agent, do not have any fear about that. And I'll come to the reason why you should not have that fear. But essentially, there are two types of agency that you're probably going to fall into. The first one is what we call a production agency. Now, a production agency is where you would just set stuff up, you'd set the campaigns up, and the client gives you all the assets. And what I mean by that is the client will give you the text, they'll write the headlines, they'll have the images, they'll pick the price, they will do absolutely everything. All you do is just wire things up. The reality of it is, and the challenge is, that is probably not what's going to happen. And here's the reason why. The client will probably not have the skills themselves. They may have the skills internally within the business, but the likelihood is they won't. They may have an advertising agency that does it. If that's the case, that's great. That's fantastic. I'll come to that in a minute. But usually they are just don't have the necessary skills that you already have. And I'll come to that in a minute as well. And they would definitely not know how to pick the right price, which we spoke about, and we will undoubtedly talk about it again. But most importantly, they just will not have the time if they run their own business to do and prep all that stuff for you. So you will probably fall into, the majority of us are going to fall into the second category of the type of agency, and that is the creative agency. And that's what I ran with my then business partner, a creative agency, okay? And what a creative agency is, essentially, you will do everything from helping develop the treatment. And what we call the treatment is you explain what the campaign is going to be, helping them pick the best price, writing the headlines, writing the copy, stating the points, blah, blah, blah. You will have to do everything for them. Now, that is a good problem to have because you're doing all the heavy lifting, you can charge more. And because of that, you're in control of it more. And because of that, they are relying on you more. So being the creative is a very powerful position to be in because they rely on you. Now, at some point, they may skill up and take the skill set inside. And I'll come to the reason why that is also good as well. So they're the two types of agency you're going to fall into. Now, I'm just referring to some notes that I wrote here because I don't really like using slides. But there is one thing that I do want to sort of like tee you up to. It's what I call the big lie in creative, in advertising and in agencies. The big lie is this: you're not selling time, you're selling results, okay? No matter how good an advertising agency you wrap yourself up at, no matter how sophisticated your billing and your pitch and all that, at the end of the day, when the dollars are spent and you come for a wash-up meeting and explain, here are the results, that's all the client is interested. That's what you're actually selling. Now, you may bill by the hour, but it's results that count for the client. And the great thing is the way that we operate a viral agency, or you can operate it, the results are based on not necessarily sales, but they can be. They're not necessarily always leads, but they can be. There are so many permutations of what you can sell the service for, and I'll come into those and we'll hit on those a bit later on. So the big lie is, and always remember it, you're not selling time, although you build time. What you're actually selling is results. Now, we know, and you've seen the results that you can get with UpViral. So there's not an issue there. So I just want to come onto something else, and this is really important. And this is the skill set. Okay, do you need any qualifications? No. You don't need any qualifications. You just need to be able to get results. Now, the great thing about that is you've got a tool that you know gets results. You only have to look at the case studies, and you've seen our case studies, you've seen the interviews, you've seen how we do things, and we are open on how people get the results. So not only have you got a great tool for your agency, you've also got the assets to back that up. There's Mitch, we have the co-pilot shows, we've got support, we've got all the vehicle you need that if you haven't got a skill set, somehow or another you can acquire that skill set quite easily. However, and this is something that I remember when I set my first agency up. I just need to set the scene. I left school with no qualifications. Okay, it's the easiest way to do it. I did, but it's a lot easier to say I had none. I didn't go to college. I didn't go to university. I just left school, and it was like, what do I do? I did an engineering apprenticeship. I hated it. With a vengeance. On the last day, I resign. I'm out of here. And then it's a matter of what do I do? And I bummed around a bit for about 12 months. I was back at my parents' house, and there was a guy washing the windows. And I thought, okay, he knocked on the door. I paid him the money, and I thought, hang on a minute. I paid him X. I said, how many houses do you do? And he told me. I calculated in my head. I went, that's a boatload of money just for washing windows. And I was like, all you need is a ladder, a bucket, and something to. So I've got a ladder. Well, my dad has. I've got a bucket. The water's free. Hey, let's go. To cut a long story short, within about 2 years, I had a really big business. Within 5 years, it was one of the biggest cleaning companies around. And then that's how the marketing started, because we developed into carpet cleaning, and I had no idea what to do. I just learned the skills as you have learned the skills. And before you knew it, I realized I turned myself into a marketer. And what I then did is we entered the recession. I lost the business, and I had to turn myself around. And at that point, I realized that there were people like me who wanted to do the same. So I actually started selling and showing people how to set themselves up in business. So I marketed that, and it worked like a dream. I mean, we could not stop them throwing money at us. It was almost like a franchise, but not a franchise, and it worked really well. So as I matured in marketing and all that kind of thing, I decided, how can I actually start? There was no UpViral then. I didn't have these type of tools. So I decided, I'm going to set up an advertising agency. If you're going to go large, go large. Right. I had no idea how to do this. I had no experience of running a team, nothing. I just decided to do it one day. That my then girlfriend actually said, you can't do that. So, what do you mean? What do you mean? I can't do that? How dare you suggest I cannot do something? And I said, what do you mean I can't do it? Of course I can do it. I can do whatever I want. You don't have a degree. No one's going to listen to you. I went, I may not have a degree, but I know how to put money in people's pockets. And I think they will rather listen to that than know my qualifications. But it won't work. Anyway, long story short, I set up a company, and it worked really, really well. I was a little bit of the laughing stock in the community because I was the only guy that wasn't sophisticated. I didn't have a degree or anything like that, but screw them. I didn't care. So you don't need qualifications. You really don't. But what I can tell you, some of you might be thinking, well, what skills do you need? Well, I've got a bit of a list here. I want to share it with you. Now, you've already got these skills, or you are acquiring them, okay? Understanding how a viral campaign works will help you with that. That's no problem. Most of you understand that. Be able to know what makes a good prize. No worries, we can help you there. You've already learning that. Writing headlines and copy for pages and landing pages and emails, not a problem. Be able to set points and custom actions that engage people, want to share it with others. I'm sure you're definitely developing that skill while you're with UpViral. Understanding how email autoresponders work in email marketing, know how to nurture an email list, and now, and this is, I just wrote a note here, I couldn't read my own writing. No one is born with these skills. You actually do develop them. And that's the thing. I remember I had this conversation with someone over a year ago. You have to realize, many of us don't actually realize the skill sets you've actually got until you actually sit back. Because what you've got to remember is we tend to congregate together. Birds of a feather flock together. We're always with other marketers, and we measure ourselves by them. We're in Facebook groups, we're in this, we're on other people's email lists. And we sometimes forget that our skill set may not be the same as someone like Wilco's or some other marketer that's out there. But here's something that you've got to remember. They are not your target. They are not your clients. The people in the high street that own businesses and shops, whatever they may well be, you've got to remember that those people do not have the skill set where you are right now. Some of you could be spending, even if it's 6 months, 12 months, or 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years, learning internet marketing. The skill set you have got right now is worth at least 6 figures. It really is, because the people who need UpViral as via an agency, they probably, a very few will have those skill sets because they just haven't got the time. They're busy running businesses, and smart business people don't learn skills. They think, what have I got to get to solve this problem? And then they go, okay, how do I acquire that skill set? Who do I have to hire? Or who do I have to bring in who's an expert to get me from there to there? Because I'm certainly not going to learn it. Because in my agency, when I ran an agency, I was not a graphic designer. I knew code, but I was not a website developer. I was not an animator. I didn't know how a studio ran. I was not the cameraman. I was not the recordist. I was none of those people that we employed or we brought into the agency. What I was very good at was the creative side of it. I was good at putting things together. So we just brought those skill sets in. And it's the same thing here. When you go and see a client, if they like what you've got, with UpViral offering what can be done, using the UpViral tool, they will immediately want to know and how to do it, because they don't need the skill set. They just need someone to action. I want leads. I want this. I want this. I want this. I want this. Who's going to do it? And if you can fill and take that pain away, if you can take that pain away from them, brilliant. So you have to remember, every single one of you inside here, when you're measuring yourself up against other marketers, they are not your target. When you measure yourself up, any of your friends, I bet you anything, they know nothing about what an ROI is, or what an autoresponder is, or how an autoresponder works, or when you're talking about a headline, or how to put copy in it, or what a cliffhanger is. They have no idea what they are, let alone how to do it. You all have that knowledge. Some of you are more advanced. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you're in the stream and you're learning it, and you're acquiring those. You need to acquire those skills from us, but you must acquire them from other sources as well, other marketers, Facebook groups. The more you acquire of this, the better your skill set's going to be. So I just wanted to spend a bit of time, because a lot of people get hung up on, I don't have the skill set. You do have the skill set. You're just measuring yourself against the wrong target, okay? The target is the client. Most of those will not have the skill set, okay? I don't know who.
I know you don't. You're doing great stuff, and I don't really mean to interrupt, but I mean that is something that all of these things that you're talking about are things that I've learned, right? Because
Hmm.
I mean, people don't necessarily think of me as an agency because I don't just tout, hey, I'm an agency.
Hmm.
But for those of you who do know me, I have done over 70 campaigns for clients.
Hmm.
So it's all learning. You just have to get yourself out there, like you said. And I know you're going to cover some more stuff. But the key that I have learned personally is that topic we just talked about is the vast majority of clients have no clue how to do this. You do.
But not only do they not know, it's not that they don't know how to do it. They don't even know they're aware they can do it.
Right.
Because whenever I'd speak to anyone about UpViral, they go, "Oh, I didn't know you could do that." So and especially when you mention it to a business person, it's like, "Oh wow!" And you can see the head just immediately. There's a pause of about 5 seconds, and all of a sudden the head goes when they think of what they can do, and they start to get the flapping duck syndrome, as I call it. They start to go oh. And they get so excited. It's like, so I mean, we've had this conversation when I was advising you on getting clients, Mitch. I mean, and how to go about it. And, you know, there are ways in which you can do it. I don't want to jump the gun. And there are more shows that we can talk about agency. So one of the main things, I'm seeing some of the questions here, and I'm not reading them very well, but because I want to try and stick to my thread. But please, you know, Mitch, whenever you want to jump in or you see something, please do. Don't worry about it. So the one question what people usually ask me is, where do I find my clients?
Right.
Well, there are several ways in which you can find clients, but the first thing is you've got to remember this: they're all around you. Now, I'll come to some specifics in a minute. They are all around you. You only have to go down any high street. I'm not saying these are the ID. Every client is not the right client, and I'll come to that in a minute. You have to be very careful of who you decide is a client. But if you think about it from a business point of view, with any high street you go down, there are clients. They are literally thousands of them. They're around, and you go, "Oh yeah, that's fine," but how do you approach them? Again, one thing at a time. But you have to be careful about a client's expectations. What do I mean by this? Well, let's take a local business. A local business using UpViral can go nationwide or even global very, very quickly. But if we think of this scenario, a local business, let's take a restaurant. A restaurant in a small town does not need prospects or leads that are either in the next state, 100 miles away, 200 miles away, or even 2,000 miles or even 5,000 miles in another country. They don't need them. It's nice that you can say, "Hey, I've got you these leads," but if 80% of them are not within their area, it's a fail. Now, it's not that the campaign has failed, it's that maybe the product is not right for that client. So you have to learn to pick your clients with care and learn to say no. And what I mean by that is, are they a fit for you? Are they going to bring headaches, or are they going to bring cash without headaches? The perfect client, the golden child of clients, is a client who pays you money and doesn't want you to do anything every month. And I've had clients like that.
Nice.
They are brilliant clients, or at least they pay you money, and once you set the machine up, the maintenance of doing the work, if it's done in the right way, is you just push a button, do a couple of things a day, adjust a few things, and maybe spend an hour, if that, half an hour a day, keeping the machine pumping away for them. Right. That is the perfect client, because they never whinge, they never moan, they get what they expect, or you overgive what they get, and they pay. And those clients are absolutely perfect. They are not lying around in mass.
Right.
But what you can do is you can pick those clients, because the way we used to work, and the other thing also is, before I get carried away and go down a rabbit hole, you also have to be able to say no to the client if you believe that your service, UpViral, is not right for them. Because I can look at do you know what I mean, Mitch? I can look at a client and go, I know you're really excited about this, but I'll be honest with you, man, this is not going to work for you unless if you do this and this, if you make these changes, if come back to me in 6 months' time. And you would be amazed when you say no to a client and they've got this number in their head that they've come up with, and they think, oh yeah, I'll pay this guy $10,000 a month, whatever it is, and you say no because it's not right for you. They get quite excited about that because it makes them question their business. But the fact that you're saying no to someone is really good. I know it's hard to say, I'm not going to take your $10,000 to set up a campaign, or your $5,000 or your $2,000, whatever it is, because you want the dollars. But you have to have the principle of, if it's not right for them, I've got to say that. A, there's two reasons. A, the morality of it, but B, the other side of it is, if you do take it and you take the money, trust me, what will happen is they will become such a pain in the backside to you. You'll pay them twice the amount to just bugger off and go away.
Yes.
Because they will just be. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
I've had clients like that where it's like, how much is this guy paying us? Oh, get me my checkbook. Well, I'll pay him to go away.
if it's okay to, I don't know what's going on with your signal, but you're getting really hard to see at times. So I don't think there's anything you can do about it. You're getting really blocky, etc. But we can hear.
It might be me getting a bit animated.
No, it's not. I mean, the signal on our tool, Webinar Jam, is like really low right now. So it might be me. I don't know. But
yeah, I know the signal's low.
If I could just add a couple of notes here because many of that people that are here are potentially just starting out, right? It's okay for you as a service provider, as an agency, to ask people what their skill sets are, right? You kind of can interview them yourself and say, well, no, you don't fit. And I wish I had done that for several. One of them, for example, just as a quick tip, is I have had clients and they say, well, I have 5,000 people on my email list. And so we started talking about building campaigns, blah, blah, blah. And I finally asked the question, well, how many emails do you send? And he said, well, I don't send out any emails. I don't know how to talk to my people. And I went, oh, wait a minute, time out. The whole point of building this campaign is for you to be able to email them regularly and to sell them. And he had no clue about how to do that.
Am I not pixelated now?
You're fine.
Okay. Yes. Well, I'm going to come into that in a minute because I'm going to talk to you about how you can see and find clients. But you have to be very careful. Although there are some sort of like rule of thumbs that I have in my head, you need to be very careful that you don't judge a book by the cover.
Yes.
I mean, when you roll into the car park to see a client, because some of this you will do face-to-face, some of it you'll do. But all I will say is that no one is going to do a $10,000 campaign with you just because they filled in a form. Okay. They are going to want to talk to you. You'll be either going to have to visit them if they're local. If it's not, you do it over Zoom. They're going to want a pitch. And there's a way of doing a pitch, and we'll show you on that. It's not difficult. It really isn't. Especially, have you just sneaked? Oh, there you go.
Sorry.
But as I was saying, you only need a few clients. 10, 20 clients can give you a really good living, especially with a product like UpViral. It can really give you a very good living. You don't need. Well, it all depends what you want to do. I mean, I have turned clients away whenever I've worked on my own. It's good to turn a client away You say, oh yeah, you're the perfect fit. Yeah, it's fantastic. At this moment in time, I just can't take you on. I'm just too busy.
Nice.
It's like, holy shit, this guy must be really good. I'll put you on the waiting list. Okay. Well, if you want to go on the waiting list, I need a deposit, and it's non-refundable when there's a slot. So, these sort of things I have done in the past. I remember the first time I actually did that. I thought, could I get a deposit which is non-refundable just as an entry fee onto my waiting list to reserve the next spot in the queue? And I remember speaking to the client. This was face to face, so I wasn't sort of like, what should I do here? I was really on the spot, and I said, well, I'll ask the question. I've got nothing to lose. So I asked, if you want to claim a spot, there is a free spot. I have a conveyor, post positions, which for people when someone falls off, as clients do, I either they're done with me or I'm done with them. Yeah. I said, well, you have to pay a deposit, which is non-refundable, and it's £1,000. I think I said £1,000 at that time. And the guy, here's the key. Here's the thing. I was taught this lesson when I was about 18 from an old family friend who was a businessman. He worked for, do you remember the firm Gestetner?
No.
No, Gestetner was a massive American organization before Xerox came around. Gestetner wasn't a photocopying company. It had a machine that you cranked off a template, and it duplicated that way.
Okay.
They were the Xerox of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And
we used to call those mimeographs. Is that right?
That's the type of thing. That's the type of thing. And anyway, he learned his trade through there, and he was a very successful businessman. And he was talking about how to do this type of pitch. That whenever you ask for the order, one thing you do. So what's that? Shut up and don't say a word. And I'll never forget, he said, the guy who speaks first loses. And I actually said, well, okay, if you want to be on it, it'll be $1,000 non-returnable. Do you want me to reserve you a spot? And I shut up, and it was the most pain. I heard Gordon's voice. I heard his message going through me. I'm sat there in front of the guy in his office, and he's looking at me, and I'm fighting with all my will to try and justify and say what I just shut up. And the silence, it felt like it went on forever and ever and ever. The guy sat there, he didn't say nothing. And it must have only been 10 seconds, but it felt like 10 minutes. I'm just sat there, don't say nothing. The guy went, yeah, okay. Got his checkbook out and wrote me the check there.
Nice.
And I nearly turned around and said, no, check. It needs to be cash. I nearly pushed it, but I thought I better not. And he wrote the check there and then. And that's when I realized the power of exclusivity, of urgency, and of what's the word I'm looking for? When there's not enough. What's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, whatever it is, I can't remember the word of it. And that really hit home to me. So I took a lot of that into the agency. You don't need a lot of clients. What you need is a lot of good clients. And it takes a while. You'll start to recognize. When I used to drive into someone's car park, I used to look at the cars. And I'd drive into a car park either on my own or with my business partner. I remember driving into one particular car park, and I just went, today's going to be a good day. And he just went, what do you mean? I said, these guys have got the 3 Fs. I said, what's that? Fountains, flagpoles, and fish ponds. These guys have got more money than sense.
Nice.
So I would always, that's it. Power of scarcity. Well done, Emmanuel. So, but also I've been into car parks where there's normal, BMWs, Mercedes. What you normally find there is that those type of cars in that kind of a business car park, they are more restrained by their thing. But again, it's always looking and seeing the cues. Never chase the client. You always have to be having the attitude that they need you more than you need them. And that's the cool thing about UpViral. Okay. Also, it does not stop you offering up viral campaigns, because once you have a good client, you've got to remember, once, let's say I've got client A and I'm doing their campaign, and let's say I do a campaign either every month or every other month. They pay on time. In some cases, I also get payment up front. Okay, I will get payment up front, because it's amazing. Whenever a campaign has been successful, how slow people are at actually paying you the dollars. I always get, so sometimes I'll get 50% up front when I start, and then before the campaign goes live, that's when they pay the rest. Because at that point, they are super excited. They paid 50%, and then I'm about to pull the lever, and they're all excited. They've got everything ready, and it's got to go live tomorrow. And I say, your money's not arrived in my bank account. Well, when can you? Well, as soon as the money's in my bank account, I'll turn it on. It's amazing how quick that money appears in your bank account.
Yeah.
So I never do credit, never have done, never needed to do it. It was a real challenge I had when I'm not advocating that you do that, but what you have got to remember is there's nothing worse than setting up a campaign for a client, spending 3, 4, 5 days. It works like crazy. And then the client decides, oh yeah, I've got your invoice, I'll pay you in 30 days. Then all of a sudden it's 60 days, and then it's 90 days. And you're spending your time chasing the dollars. You have a value, and that value should be, you want me? And don't forget, it's not as if they can get this from anyone else, guys. You're probably going to be the only UpViral guy around your particular area. So that gives you a lot of power and a lot of strength. So always remember that. My credo was, okay, this is what the cost is. Yeah, okay. It's 50% upfront. And then once the campaign is completed, before we go live, I need the other 50%, and then we switch it live and away we go. But once you've got clients like that who understand it, it doesn't stop there, because now that you've actually started getting results from them and you've got a relationship, what you've got to realize is these guys have got a budget. They're happy with you. You're giving them results. If you now go to them and well, actually, you won't have to go to them. They will actually, surprisingly, they will come to you and say, hey, Mark, we've got a problem. You do, Mark. Do you know anyone who does this? We're looking for a new website, or we're looking for someone to help us with a new flyer or a brochure campaign or a Facebook ad campaign. Do you know anyone who's really good at email campaigns? And you go, yeah. Now, by the way, I never say no. Okay, that's something else I learned. With my cleaning business, we diversified into hotels. We started with carpet cleaning. We got a good reputation, and managers would come to me and say, oh, Mark, yeah, you don't happen to know how you clean whatever. I say, yeah, we do that. And I would go, okay, I don't know how to clean that. So he would then say, well, give me a price for cleaning this. I would then go out. I would find someone who supplied me with the equipment. I'd ring them up. Do you know how to clean? Oh yeah, you need this. Do you know how to do it? I said, yeah. Will you show me how to do it? Yeah. Do you know how much to charge? You went, yeah. Can you tell me that tomorrow all in one day? I said, yeah. So it's a matter of, because once you're in with a client, they are going, and you're going to be their advisor. Unofficially, they're also going to come to you and go, and we're having good things with these campaigns, but we need to nurture them. We need to send emails afterwards. Do you know anyone who can set this up? Because we've no idea how to do it. No, we sort of do. We've got a MailChimp account, but we don't really know what we're doing. And you go, yeah, I can do that for you. There is then not a question of how much will it be, because they know you produce results. Now, the other good thing about this is you're thinking, yeah, but if I've got 20 clients or 5 clients, I don't want to be doing all this stuff. Well, you don't have to be. Again, if I come back to my agency, the way it's not just my way, most agencies work is they will have a core team. Okay, depends what that core team is. And that core team will revolve around a particular specialist skill that the agency has. All the other offerings and skills like email marketing, Facebook ads, website building, whatever it is, although they have it on their roster, their rate card, they probably are not doing 80% of it internally. They will outsource it to a third party. So you can do this as well. And you will find there's a lot of little agencies. I'm not talking about one-man band outfits, but you will find that there are small agencies with 2, 3, 4 people in your local area that will have the skill sets to do these sort of things. Now, this is a great way to sort of like expand your business, because if you think, I'm rubbing my hands together because I'm starting to feel the money, I'm starting to feel the dollars, because this is one way exactly, ding, ding. This is one way in where you can actually start with a bit of a sprint, because what you've got to realize is an agency, no matter how big or small, they will have a list of clients. They will have clients, not only the current client base, but they will have extended list of clients that they're not working for at the moment, clients, but they will keep in touch with these people. And these are what I call grazing clients. They will come, they will go. Oh, we need a new brochure next year. Or but nevertheless, they will have this extension. So they might have their immediate clients that they deal with on a regular basis, but they will have other clients that they deal with maybe once a year. Now, when you go and show them UpViral, obviously you won't mention the name UpViral, but you show your agency and what it can do. They will go, okay, we want to introduce this to every single one of our clients. Now, straight away, that puts you in what I would call the acceleration mode, because straight away, you're sat in the Ferrari and the foot's gone down and it's like, whang. And you have to be very careful that you don't take off too quick, because it can become too much work because you're one person. But nevertheless, what it can do is they will introduce you, and you would probably have to not be you as your agency. You'd have to be you as whatever their agency name is, because you will bill them and they will bill the client. But it's a great way of actually getting a skill set. So I may go to, there's a couple of agencies near me, and they're both sort of slightly different. One's more Facebook ads and e-commerce, that type of thing. The other one's what I would call traditional. It does ads, brochures, print work, that kind of stuff. So I could go to one of these, show them what I've got, and say, oh yeah, I can think of 5 clients right now that'll take this tomorrow. I can think of them straight away. And so I would approach them saying, oh, I've got some clients, I'm just starting off, but I know I'm going to get clients asking me about print design. I know they're going to need graphic design for what I do, because they're going to need images. I know they're going to want photography. I know that they're going to want email, whatever it is. How can we work together? What rates can you give me? And straight away, you're in that conversation. You went to them trying to give them work, and then the conversation gets turned around to them taking your service and saying, we can get you work. So that's one way in which you can do that type of thing. Also, these partners can really help you with your normal everyday campaigns, because in some cases you're going to need graphic design work doing. So you can say, well, I'm not a graphic designer. Well, fine, you've got one. They'll do it. So that's one way of looking at it as well. Let me just take a sip of water, Mitch. Any questions that are zipping up?
Well, we've got about 15 minutes left to go, a little more than that. We've got quite a few good questions. Do you want to switch?
Let's do it. Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
And I'm starting kind of at the bottom, working my way back. So the people that asked first questions first, just so everybody knows. The questions.
Hopefully that was useful.
Yeah.
But there's more to tell people as well.
So we're going to have another show eventually.
Yeah.
Can you help with the copy to promote an agency? And I know we're not going to talk about specific words, but How do we sell the benefit of using something like UpViral to a client who doesn't know?
I have been thinking about that. In fact, I was thinking about that last night. And yes, I want to put something together and show you how to do that, as if it was me doing it. So that is something I want to do in a future show through, definitely.
Great. Matthew asked, for traffic, what do you find to convert better, solo ads or Connectio/Facebook retargeting audience traffic? Not necessarily an agency.
All of it. Well, to be honest, traffic converts. The traffic only converts depending on the quality of the traffic. No matter where it comes from, all those 3 or 4 things that you make, if that's quality traffic, it will convert as long as it matches. If the traffic matches what is on the campaign, and that, just putting traffic into something and wishing it happens is not a very good tactic.
Ashley would like to know, can you work with clients online without ever physically seeing them?
Yeah,
I can say the answer to that.
I've never physically met you.
Yeah, I've never, of the clients that I've done, the vast majority, probably 75%, I've never met face to face.
No, but if you ask the question, I never want to talk to a client. No.
Great.
That ain't going to happen. No one is going to write you a check, even for $100, if they don't know who you are. And I mean, even if it's just they're not going to do it over an email. It's just not going to happen. You're going to have to accept that.
Yeah. Even an online
that comes back to my first thing. Is running an agency right for you? If you don't want to meet people, forget it about it.
You could technically go put yourself on Fiverr, I guess, and go that direction, but because I know some of those people never speak to the client. So, but anyway.
Yeah. No.
And we knew this question was going to come, Mark. Dijon asked, how much do you charge for this service?
Well, I have got another show about that, because charging, we had a rate card. I've never been one for a rate card, by the way, is a price list. Okay. I've never been one for rate cards. My business partner put the rate card together because that was his bag. He loved doing that kind of thing. I literally would I would literally go into a client, do the presentation, look around, think of the cars, think of what these guys are talking, and go, screw it, 10 grand. You know, I would just bite the bullet and go, oh, and if I got paid, it's like, excellent. But obviously I would never I don't just think of a number and do it for the sake of doing it. There isn't a formula for it. It's a matter of time, because obviously in most cases you're billing time. Some people, I don't know whether there's a question, how do you bill? Do you bill by time or do you bill by results? Well, it all depends. I mean, sometimes I never build on results. The reason being is I could put a great campaign.
Well, Mark, you're frozen. Your signal says good. Maybe that's my signal.
You're wrong.
Oh, there you are. You're here.
Sorry, say again?
Well, you completely froze. So
no worries. And oh, sorry. And then I would say, well, that's what you wanted, but this is what I think you really want. And I would show them. They go, oh wow, yeah, that's what I want. So, well, if you want that, it's X. But if you want what you want, it's we ain't going to bill you because we're not going to do it. Because our advice is what would work for you. I never build on results. We had some clients to say, I want you to do all this work and we'll give you 10% of the sales. And I go, no. Because if a client says that, they know it's not going to get the results.
I tend to agree with you on that from the experience I have.
Yeah. For me, it's like, that means you've not got the money. What you're telling me there is you've not got the money. So why on earth should I start working for someone who hasn't even showed me a single dollar? That ain't going to happen.
Right.
So I never worked off that kind of thing, based off results. No matter how good I am, I would not do it. I need to protect my business, my bank account, my house, my car, whatever, whatever it is. Whenever a client said to me, "Oh yeah, we love what your idea is. We think it's really awesome. We want to go ahead and do it. The way we want to do it is we'll give you 10% of the sales." Fantastic. There you go. What are you doing? I'm giving you another name of someone, another sucker who'll do it for you. Get in touch with them. They'll gladly do all that work for you. Because here's the problem: when they've had the money, how are you going to get that money off them? It never appears. It's a disaster waiting to happen. And my experience would be never ever do it.
And I can tell you from experience that happens. Don't do it. I'm going to jump to another question. We got 10 minutes. Johan,
no worries.
This is an UpViral question. How do you set more than 3 clients in your account for email addresses?
You can answer that, Mitch.
The answer is you can't. Unless, I think if you go all the way up to the current enterprise, I've forgotten what it's called, pricing, I think you can get 10 email addresses. I think that's the pricing. But if you go to upviral.com/pricing, you can see that. But the basic account gets 1 email sender. The business account gets 3, and then I think the top one is 10. And as of yet, there is no agency version of UpViral.
No. You don't. Well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's something I wanted to say. You actually don't need an agency version to do this. Mitch doesn't have an agency version. There's a handful of other people who do. You really don't need agency. What you've got right now, you can do it. You don't need an agency. Next question, Mitch.
Gary, can you run local campaigns through UpViral? The answer is yes. How do you contain the viralness?
That is another question. That I could spend 20 minutes on that alone, so we'll cover that in another show. Okay. Next question.
Marilee, I think UpViral has a lot of potential to help authors find readers for their books. The only problem I have is that most writers don't have any money to pay for this.
Next client.
Yeah, well, I mean,
no, without being derogatory, I understand that it's not just authors. There are a lot of people who don't have the budget. We're not here to solve that problem for them. What we're here to do is to solve the problem for people who've got money. You cannot run a successful campaign if someone hasn't got the dollars. I feel sorry for them. I'm sure they will get the dollars, and when they've got the budget, please come and knock on my door and I will gladly help you. But I can only fix problems, and you must have this in your head. You can only run marketing campaigns if the juice is there. And it's the old saying, speed is a question of cash. How fast do you want to go? It's simply that the client who's got a budget, you can make things happen for that person. If the client has no budget, or they've got a unrealistic budget of like $500 marketing budget a month, you may think, I can do great stuff for this guy. I'm telling you now, you cannot if he's only got $500. It's not going to happen.
Well, and the second side of that is typically those clients don't have money allocated to pay for advertising, right? They think that they're going to get all of this stuff just virally happen for free, and that's not necessarily the way it works. So if they don't have money for you, they don't have money to really promote. So,
and also the other thing to remember is when people start talking about free, you've got to remember something free has no value. So therefore it's treated with utter contempt. Next question.
All right, this one's relatively long, but I'll zip through it. Matthew asks, this is what we do. We do a first meeting is a 15-minute phone call. Then I charge $4.95 to analyze the data. From there, I introduce them to a 90-day remarketing campaign, $3,500, and I'll skip the rest of it. Are these prices undercharged?
No, they sound reasonable to me. They sound okay. Yeah, so. That's the way I would do it. And it's one of the things that I'm going to look at in the. I'm going to do something special just to let you know. We're going to do another agency show. It's not going to be next week. We're going to do another agency show, and in that, I'm going to, because we've got about 5 minutes left, and I don't want to miss this. I'm going to show you how to introduce yourself to new clients. It is really easy. Okay, pricing, and another thing, retainers. Now, I don't mean things you stick on your teeth. No, I don't mean that. I mean a proper agency retainer where they pay you money every single month for your services. You just ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. We like retainers.
Yes, we do.
How you can actually use UpViral for the network marketing industry, MLMers, network marketing, and also how you can use it from an affiliate point of view. These things are coming up in the next show. Carry on.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that myself. Peter asks, what are the list of questions that you would ask a potential new client? Is that something you're going to cover next show, or is that?
No, that's actually I will do actually. I can't give them right now because but usually what I want to know is, first question I always ask, what's your budget? Because that is the ultimate qualifier.
Yes.
What's your budget? We don't have one. Okay. When you've got one, give me a ring. What's your budget? And if someone says, well, our budget is $5,000, okay. Yeah, that might work. We could do something with that. We can do, because if he says it's 5,000, immediately I know in my head what he really means is 10,000. He just doesn't want to tell me that. So it's like, okay, I'll come and meet you. And that's when I start pre-qualifying. There are plenty of ways. I'll go and check the guy's website out. I might ask him some relevant questions. How do you do your email marketing? What clients do you use? How long have you been doing it? How often do you send stuff? I want to know how serious they are about spending money. Not serious about what they want to achieve.
Right.
How serious are they invested in their marketing? How much do you spend on your email marketing? How much do you spend on your print? Do you do outside advertising? What is it you do? While he's answering this, I'm writing all these numbers down on a calculator and going, this guy's spending $20,000 a month. I'm in here. I'm going. So because if I know like I said, I loop back to it. If I know the money's there, I know I can do something with this guy.
Nikki asked a quick question for a referral program. Can you explain some good strategies for developing points? We talked about that last week, Nikki. Please go back and watch that show. It was an awesome show.
And we will without doubt talk about it again as well.
Many times.
Yeah.
What kind of businesses work best for this platform?
Those who've got money.
Larry specifically asked about a number of medium-sized machine shops in our area are looking for clients.
Sorry, say that again. I didn't hear.
He's looking for medium-sized machine shops to help them. Now, in my mind, that's somebody that's doing a service. And those are a little bit more difficult to do. You can do business-to-business kind of things with UpViral, but trying to get clients for a service-based business that's like a machine shop, that's a little bit harder.
That's quite specialized, yeah. But usually you will learn, you will acquire. I mean, I can literally walk past any shop now and go, client, no good, no good, no good. Within 5 seconds of speaking to a potential client on the phone, I'm able to go, no. But be polite, pass them on. And normally I say, look, it's not for you, but when you're ready, please get back in touch. And it's not a skill that takes a long time. You trust me, You know right now when you're just not prepared to admit it. You have, every single one of you have that skill. You know when you see sniffing BS, and you also know when you see that's a good client. You all know that. It's not something you need to be taught or develop. You do know that. You just need to, you'll recognize it. If you've not been in that arena, as soon as you start talking to business people about it, you will recognize it. It'll go ping. You'll immediately, it'll be like, there it is. You'll feel it at the back of your head.
Yeah.
For me, my fingers start to itch and I can feel the dollars going. I can feel it.
Couple of questions, which I think you answered. Do we avoid prospective clients who do not have an email list or Facebook following, etc.?
No. Don't forget, everyone has to start somewhere.
Yes.
Everyone has to start somewhere.
But
I have gone to businesses and spoke to businesses, and I say, "What's your email list?" They go, "Email list? What do you mean?" And I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have too. That doesn't mean that you can't educate them, and that doesn't mean that you don't want to serve them, but they definitely have to have money, like you said before.
Most people think the email list is something they keep on an Excel spreadsheet.
Really quickly, because we're out of time. Mike asked about how much does UpViral charge for other things. To go to the pricing page to find that out. And that's pretty much it. There's a couple of other questions that we could, but we don't have time.
We can talk about those in another agency. And the questions I'm calling them an agency show, but
I'm sorry, I walked on you. The couple of questions about the recordings, we're putting them now in the units.
In the Facebook group, yeah.
In the UpViral group, and they will be eventually in your UpViral account where you can refer to them later.
We can't put them in there at the present moment because the developers are, which you will get.
Yeah, there is something coming that Wilco mentioned the other day in the UpViral.
Move on.
You're not going to tell us about it?
No.
All right.
Listen, I hope that has given you some insight. All you got to remember, guys, is clients are really good. They're really exciting, but be careful who you pick. You've got an awesome tool with UpViral, and you do know what you're doing. The skill sets are already there. You can do this. You will trip, you will fall, but always remember 50% upfront and 50% before the campaign goes live. That way, you're protecting you, and you're also making the client realize how valuable you are and what you're doing for them.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Do you want to remind everyone about next week and tell them what it's going to be?
Well, we didn't tell them at the beginning. So next week is just going to be lowly old me. Mark is abandoning. Look at that heavy sigh that came out of you.
Makes a change. That makes a change.
We're going to talk about 7 or 8 or 9 different ways that you can use UpViral other than just contests and giveaways.
Yeah.
So
I'll be away next week, but I'll be back the week after.
Yay!
I know.
So you guys be prepared. Be prepared for next week.
Okay then, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for everyone turning up. Really appreciate it. Hopefully, give me some feedback. I hope this has been useful. I know it's been fast, but this is one session. We'll have many, many more about it. But speak to you all soon. You take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.